Let's jump right into today's explainer, because we're looking at a genuinely fascinating concept in early childhood education. We're talking about how educators teach kids the absolute mechanical nuts and bolts of reading, while at the exact same time teaching them the socio-emotional skills they need to just be, well, good humans. We'll be looking at a brilliant curriculum guide, straight from the Crimson Grove blog, put together by Nature T. Newfer. It's honestly a perfect example of what we call layered learning.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We are going to start with the dual focus lesson plan, then move into mastering the N sound, followed by meet the noble neighbors. After that, we'll look at building sentences and stories, and finally wrap the whole thing up with practice makes perfect.
Section 1, the dual focus lesson plan.
So, the core mantra of this lesson really sets the tone right out of the gate. Noble neighbors make the world better. It immediately establishes this incredibly uplifting, almost nostalgic vibe. Think about it from a kindergartner's perspective. When they hear this, they aren't just memorizing the alphabet, right? They're actually being invited into a community. They're basically being told, hey, you have the power to make the world around you better.
And a really crucial part of making this work is how the curriculum defines its terms right up front. The theme clearly states, good neighbors show kindness, respect, friendship, and care for others. That right there, that's the absolute foundation for the character-building side of the lesson. Before we even glance at a vowel or a consonant, the source material explicitly lays out the behavioral expectations. It literally creates a linguistic anchor for empathy.
Section 2, mastering the N sound. Here, the curriculum gets right to the mechanics, explicitly identifying N as a consonant and using classic phonetic repetition. Let's actually do this. Try saying it out loud right now, just like you're a kindergartner sitting on the classroom rug. N says N, N, N. I know it feels silly, but that physical repetition, that bouncy vocalization, that is exactly how young brains wire themselves to recognize and lock in phonetic patterns.
Next up, the lesson introduces its featured words. And notice how this first set is very intentionally grouped around themes of people and the environment. We've got nurse, neighbor, ninja, noble. And then we pivot seamlessly into nest, night, nature, north. There's a really nice rhythmic, bouncy energy to reading these out loud. The developers here aren't just throwing random N-words at the wall to see what sticks. They're curating a highly specific vocabulary that connects the child directly to society and the natural world. And yeah, even ninja makes the cut, because you gotta keep the kids engaged.
From there, the curriculum shifts gears slightly into everyday items and concepts. We see notebook, net, nail, name, nose, neck, napkin, newspaper, noodles, number, nickel, nursery. It's such a smart mix, isn't it? You've got highly tangible, everyday objects, like noodles and a nose, mixed with slightly more abstract concepts, like a name or a number. It builds a super robust phonetic vocabulary without overwhelming the student.
Section 3. Meet the noble neighbors.
Now we get to see how the author pairs standard phonics imagery with really powerful behavioral examples. I mean, seeing a picture of a nest or a net is pretty standard kindergarten fare, for sure. But the curriculum also explicitly calls for visuals of friendly neighbors and children helping one another. By placing these images side by side, whether it's up on the classroom wall or printed on a worksheet, the lesson is visually instilling empathy right alongside the alphabet. In the child's mind, the letter N literally becomes synonymous with helping hands.
Section 4. Building sentences and stories. Let's move along and see how this builds.
Now, what's really interesting about this transition is how isolated phonetic sounds start turning into meaningful thematic stories. Look at the progression here. The isolated word nurse transforms into the full sentence. The nurse helped the sick child. We're no longer just reading a sentence for syntax. We are absorbing a micro-lesson on community helpers. The grammar exercise basically becomes a Trojan horse to gently teach compassion.
Here's another great example. It takes the word neighbor and expands it to our neighbor planted flowers near the fence. This brilliantly illustrates the everyday actions of a noble neighbor. It paints a picture of someone bringing beauty and care into a shared community space. It shows the student that being quote-unquote noble doesn't mean fighting dragons or doing something massive. Sometimes it just means planting flowers where everyone else can enjoy them.
And finally, the word noble itself expands into noble neighbors help one another every day. This essentially acts as the thematic crescendo of the entire lesson plan. It perfectly, beautifully marries that N sound repetition with the core character lesson. It's simple, it's direct, and honestly, it leaves absolutely zero ambiguity about what is expected of a member of this classroom community. Section 5. Practice makes perfect.
Okay, let's look at the practical application. The practice exercises follow 5 distinct, highly structured cognitive steps. Step 1 is circling the letter N, that's basic visual recognition. Step 2 is matching the word to a picture, so connecting symbols to meaning. Step 3 is filling in the missing letter, which tests active recall. Step 4 is reading and coloring, synthesizing context while letting them engage creatively. And finally, Step 5 is writing and tracing, physically locking in those fine motor skills. It's honestly a comprehensive cognitive workout completely disguised as a simple, fun worksheet.
Actually, let's do a quick mental exercise directly from the curriculum right now. Imagine you're filling in the missing letter. We have blank, O, T, B, O, O, K. Take a second. Yep, I'm sure you all nailed it. It's Notebook. It's just a lovely little moment of interactive nostalgia. Kind of takes us right back to our own early school days, doesn't it? Let's try just one more quick hit to keep those gears turning. We have blank, U, R, S, E. What's our N word? Nurse, exactly. It's playful, sure, but that repetition guarantees that by the end of this entire lesson, the N sound is permanently mapped in the student's brain right alongside the concept of caregiving.
As we wrap up, I want to reflect on the final, encouraging footer from the curriculum's author, Njecha T. Nuafor. It says, "Noble neighbors help and care." It really makes you stop and think. What if we approached all of our adult learning with this exact same dual focus? Mastering the hard technical skills while constantly reminding ourselves of our obligations to our community. How different might things be? And how might foundational lessons exactly like this one be the ultimate key to shaping the kinder, more noble communities we all desperately want in our future? Something to chew on. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today.